Hi, I'm Katherine Schreiber with Broadway and Beyond TV, and I am thrilled today to be talking to the extraordinarily talented and altogether wonderful, delightful person, Matt Doyle. And he is in the waiting room, and I'm so excited about doing this. I am going to get him out of the waiting room. I am going to admit him. Welcome, welcome. This is really exciting. Pre-COVID, March BC, before COVID, you were in a show performing on Broadway. Full disclosure, I am a producer on that show, Company, and
Yes.
you are absolutely brilliant in it. And we were all set to go, right? Opening night was March
We were a week
22nd,
away. Yeah.
Sondheim's birthday.
Yep.
And you have one of the show-stopping numbers that will be on Broadway this season. I know you're not allowed to sing the song, but Matt, can you just give me one line of what's not going to happen?
Oh my gosh, I am not getting married today. Look, I'm not allowed to do the full song, but I'm going to give you my favorite verse because,
Okay,
hey,
I know you're not allowed. I know, I checked this out.
This is my favorite verse in the show. It's, listen, everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear or do you want to see a crazy person fall apart in front of you? It isn't only Paul who may be ruining his life. You know, we'll both of us be losing our identities. I telephoned my shrink and he said, maybe I should come and see him Monday. But by Monday, I'll be floating in the Hudson with the other garbage. I'm not well, so I'm not getting married. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have to ask you this, Matt. What made you first want to get involved in theater? What's your history?
So when I was like 13 years old, my family moved out west from Massachusetts, and I went to a very, very small public school in this tiny, wealthy community outside of San Francisco. And it was, oh gosh, I think there were about 13 boys in my grade. And yeah, there weren't any guys like me. Like, I mean, I was
never,
chubby.
ever, nowhere. There's no one else like you, Matt Doyle.
Well, thank you. But I was chubby and artistic and creative, and I liked to draw, and I was quiet, and I was an introvert, and I just didn't get along with this like kind of skater jock, like small community that I had come into. And I was very, very, very badly bullied and, you know, knocked out unconscious. And like, I mean, I was beaten up, and so to help fight this new depression, this new anxiety, this new bullying that I was dealing with, I needed to find a community of my own. And my mom knew that I loved theater. You know, she had taken all of us to a few Broadway shows before we had moved out there. And she was like, why don't you audition for community theater? And I did. I auditioned for this like local children's community theater run by the wonderful Marilyn Izdebski out in Marin. I was cast in like a production of Oklahoma. It was so wonderful because immediately I found just individuals that were like-minded, people that I got along with, people that embraced who I was, you know, just like the freaks and geeks of theater that I love so much still to this day. And that's where I found my home. And then from there, I realized I'm actually very good at this and I want to pursue this, because how good does it feel to pursue something that, you know, you thrive in?
I love that you share that, because besides my strong belief in theater being able to inspire and change lives, I think the acting in it. I think theater is so crucial to be in every school, because just like people like you, there are people who don't fit in, who may be lost. And I think theater creates a community for people to be in, so that everyone.
It's my life, to be completely frank.
Is there one role or one theater experience that you feel has changed other people's lives?
I was a part of the original company of Spring Awakening way back in the day. That's what started my career. People came to that show over and over again because they felt like they could identify with it and be seen in a way that wasn't happening in theater at the time. You know? And that was just a beautiful thing to be a part of. I think,
that's why
and to start my career that way.
Because people can see themselves where they might not see each other in another place. I know I was involved with Next Fall. And there were so many letters sent about the gay experience, and people came out to their grandmothers because of the show. And I
love that show so much, and that play, God, it was such a beautiful play. And to speak to that point, you know, to be able to bring a new gay character to an old wonderful classic that we think we all know through and through.
How was that for you, creating this new person?
absolutely terrifying, first and foremost, you know, especially because it had been so successful for Jonathan Bailey in the West End, who created the role there.
Yes.
But it was amazing because you have somebody like Marianne, and I've known this about her for so long. She believes in building something from the ground up, and that everyone, no matter if somebody's played the role before them, has a right to create it for themselves. And she gave me that confidence with Jamie, and she reminded me that even with the female comedians that I looked up to that had played this role before, and brilliant actresses over the years, that I did not have to emulate anyone. And the more that I allowed myself to just bring my own qualities into the role, that's when it started to just really lift and take off in rehearsals. And that only happened because I have a director like Marianne who just instills confidence in her performers.
I read that Lin-Manuel made a line for you, Matt Doyle, holy shit, that's Matt Doyle, something like that. I mean,
yes, this is the most bizarre
explain
thing
this.
ever. There is a podcast called My Brother, and Me, and just these like wonderful, normal guys that put together a podcast, and they talk about anything, pop culture, anything, mostly like nerdy stuff, like gaming and stuff like that, things that I'm actually really into. And
Can I just say one pause for once? I'll let you go back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched that a little bit on Twitch. Okay, that is another episode. All I know, you're gaming. You are like the Renaissance man. You're just blowing my mind. It's like my son in World of Warcraft. I'm going, what is he doing?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, so this podcast, Lynn was a fan of the podcast, and he asked these guys to do interviews on the red carpet at the opening of Margaritaville. I happened to be at that opening, and for whatever reason, I was not planning on walking this red carpet at all, but my name was on the list. And there's this episode of their podcast where they're at this opening. They're looking for me because I'm at the top of the list, and it's got millions and millions of listens. And he says over and over again, he must have said it like 100 times, is that Matt Doyle? Is that Matt Doyle? Is that Matt Doyle? So I became like canon in this fandom around their podcast, and internet memes were created. People that don't know me at all, have no idea who I am. And Lin-Manuel had to call me when it like aired because I was getting harassed online, and he was like, I need to explain this to you. I get this like phone call from Lin-Manuel Miranda on my phone. I'm like, God, hello? Like, why are you calling me? And he explained it to me. And because they do these, the podcast group does these like tours across the country normally. We went to the King's Theater in Brooklyn, which they had like sold out for an episode of their podcast. And Lin-Manuel wrote me into a song where it goes, Matt Doyle, holy shit, it's Matt Doyle. And I just came out and said, hi, I'm Matt Doyle. That was it. It's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me.
That is so phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. I want to get in here. You also write your own songs.
Yeah, so I've been songwriting since I was about 23 years old, and I started doing it with a really dear friend of mine who's a music supervisor. His name is Will Van Dyke, and he's a brilliant writer as well. We started writing pop songs together, and I did not really understand at the time that I was writing what they call top line, which is melody and lyrics. And I just thought that I was a fraud because I didn't play instruments, and I was working with another, I was collaborating and trying to make it legit.
People who just write lyrics. They've got success from that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what it introduced to me, because our albums actually found really good independent success, Sony reached out to me and asked me to start writing top line for Sony ATV. And so I've even started writing pop songs with them. I fly down to Nashville sometime. It's amazing. And this is what I encourage to everyone getting into any business in general. And I know you've seen the most ridiculous sides of me as I'm streaming video games on Twitch. But I say, go do everything at your disposal. Life is so short, and you need to explore everything that's in front of you.
That's a wonderful note to leave this on. Again, you are sensational company. We can't wait to see you back. We hope everyone is safe. And I just want to leave this to the world that theater not only entertains, but it inspires and it changes lives. So support theater in any way you can. I adore you. I love you. I can't wait to see you back in the theater. Thank you so much.